It's showtime.
Hello guys and welcome to the STPL. My name is Kix, solo casting today, but we've got a couple of good matches heading your way now. I say a couple, but depending on how long this first one's gonna last, I may need to leave it and then do the other one tomorrow. But we should have a couple of good series nonetheless, obviously depending on length and whatever. We're starting off with a couple of cool matchups for me, but time-wise, could be a little bit bad. It's 8 PM, so okay, let's actually have a look at our maps for today. Just to go into that pretty quickly, we're going to have Katrina SE as set 1, Sin Peaks of Bakedu as set 2, Neo Ground Zero as set 3, Plasma as set 4, and Coliseum 2 as the ace match, if we do get there. I know, of course, there's a long road before we get there. And just have a quick look at our Group A standings. Currently we've got Naz top of the group with 7-1, FBW just behind them with a 6-4 score. Media third place at the moment with 1-0, sat just above White with a 3-1 score. White Clan fourth actually at the moment, 1 win, 1 loss. They are 4-5, so -1 on game difference. Valhalla 0-1, Full Team 0-1, Messia 0-1, and Ash 0-2 at the moment. So obviously the bottom team's got a little bit of way to go, but today we're going to be seeing 2 of these right here. We currently have the 3rd place team and the 5th place team going up against each other here in round 3. So it's going to be Media versus Valhalla. Now, Media did not too great last round, but they did have a lot of fun from what I understand, so that's all that matters. And their opponents, new team to round 3, looking good so far. Of course, they did lose their first game, but they were very, very close to clutching out that win. They actually did go 2 for 3, so did make it to the ace match against their opponents. Now let's actually have a look at what the matchups we're going to see today are. We're starting with a TBT between Nyoken and 3S on Katrina SE. And then we're going to be heading into a TBT between Gypsy and Iradial, which is why I'm saying, depending on how long these are, may need to do the other series tomorrow. Then we're going to be moving into a ZBP between Machine and SFCA. And then we're going to have a PVZ to possibly finish us off between Future and Galaxy on Plasma. Just have a quick look once again at the player table as well. No players from these 2 teams in there. They did join us quite late, so it's going to be hard for their players to make it into this top 10. But obviously a lot of it comes down to the win ratio as well. But it's mainly based on wins and losses. So Yeti's still at the top of the table. Famasi up there as well with Koga. Now, I'll have something more to announce about the top 16 players as a little bit later on, but I don't really want to announce it yet until everything's confirmed. But should be kind of cool to see how these 2 players are going to do here, because we are going to be moving into Nyoken versus 3S. Now, Nyoken did win his round, or his week 1 game. He currently is 1-1 against Terran. Meanwhile, 3S has only played 2 games, and they were both against Lumaya in his in his week 1 game. He played in the ace match for them as well. But Nyoken went 4 for 2 last round. One of the stronger players on Media, one of the strongest Terrans at the moment outside of Korea, and also a very good caster. Kind of a little bit worried he's going to take my job, man. Here I am trying to run the STPL and he's just tearing it up, both as a player and a caster. Now 3S, a very strong Terran player, Korean Terran player for Valhalla, I believe. I think he lives in America at the moment though, for studying. But he's a really, really strong Terran. Lumai did a great job to take him down. But we've not seen his TBT yet. And this map should be a cool one for TBT, and one of the reasons why I think it could go on a little bit longer, we're going to be heading into Katrina SE. Now with Katrina SE you have the 12, 6, 3 and 9 o'clock spawns, 3rd gases. To get them you have to move towards the middle of the map, which shouldn't be too much of a problem in a TBT because a lot of the area is really defended by one big siege line to try and take those. There's also small ramps heading up to them, or kind of medium ramps, so it's a little bit hard to get up there. Obviously a lot of siegeable terrain, the naturals hidden away, tucked behind the main base. Now this is good for early expanding, you can wall off against vulture plays and things like that, but it does give you the option later on to get heavily dropped. Gonna need a lot of turrets late game to try and deal with that. There are some mirror-only bases as well, but it's very, very unlikely we'll see those taken in a TBT. It's kind of hard to ever really expand to those, as they're kind of in the middle of everything. You've got high ground on both sides of you. Obviously one of it should be your main at one point, but if you do decide to take the bases a little bit later in the game, you'll have to worry about the extra third and the other main base. So without further ado, let's head into our first TBT we've had on Katrina SE in round 3. It's Media's Nyoken versus VT's 3S. Now, starting us off in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the Teal Terran fighting for Media. It's going to be Nyoken. And his opponent down here, just underneath the, whatever you call this. Oh my god. I've forgotten my words when you just started. This is not a good day. It's going to be for Valhalla team. It's 3S, our Blue Terran. Now I do apologise, Teal does not appear very well on the overlay at the top, so Nyoken's position is not doing very well. I'm actually looking to redesign that overlay to make it a little bit easier to see all the colours and everything, so that's going to be something coming up in the following weeks, so do look forward to that. But I'm currently putting a lot of work into the database as well, just to kind of get on top of all the data. I'm working quite closely with Bradley, thankfully, just because Bradley is very, very good with SQL, and I'm but a mere noob, so he is helping me with a lot of database modeling stuff and things like that. So one of the stat changes that we'll see heading into round 4, hopefully, depending on if it's ready. If not, the currently unannounced kind of Season 2, which will be next year at some point. But that should be a lot of fun nonetheless. We're going to have like head-to-head stats and things like that. And it should be a little bit better at recording the data than what I'm doing at the moment. Now both players are going for a Rax here. Not going to see any 14 CCs. 3S is going to go for a 1 Rax expand though, whereas Nyoken is going for a quick gas. Now the difference between the builds is kind of negligible depending on how many Marines you get. One of the things that I saw Flash say was if you go for 3 Marines with a 1 Rax expand, you're actually behind compared to the factory expanding player. But it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this is going to play out. Now, without a gas, you are a little bit more vulnerable to the early game vulture, which is why you need that. You need the bunker around 21 supply, I believe it is, which is when you should be able to add your first factory, just based on the build. But we should see that command center coming in pretty soon. Now there are going to be 3 guys on gas for Nyoken, and there we go, the command center is going to be coming up. Now the major difference is going to be that early vulture. Obviously you can choose to skip it and go for very quick tanks, but realistically the Rax expanding player is going to get their going to be able to get their tanks up pretty quickly as well if they do go for that. One really good build on this map is actually going for 1 Rax expand into 3 fact vulture with mines and speed very, very early on, especially in these positions. You're very, very far away from each other. I know it looks like 3S is actually going to go for those 3 Marines, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem for him later on. It doesn't seem like much, but when Flash says it makes a big difference, it likely does. Now, the SUV is going to get taken down for Nyoken, but he is going to see that there is a Rax expand coming up, so we'll know to be careful. Now, Nyoken actually sent both his Marines back there to try and chase an SCV. Did the oh, the SCV actually was there, I just missed it, but here we go. Nyoken's expansion going to be coming up right away behind this, so he's going to be feeling pretty happy, pretty content with what's going on. Of course, there is now going to be the bunker at the front, but 3S has mistakenly made 4 Marines. He's not actually going to need those for anything. Now, going for 3 can be okay if you're going up against Wraiths, because you can kill the first Wraith with 3 Marines. It does take 3 Marines to kill a Wraith with no micro, so it's a little bit safer. But we do have the Vulture coming in with these 2 Marines to try and put a little bit of pressure on. Unfortunately, unless he can run past the bunker, it's going to be quite difficult to get in here. Now, you can see the factory not yet finished up. For 3S, he's not added a second factory yet either. Nyoken still going for 1 factory, so there's going to be a starport up here, which it is. And there we go. Looks like the Vulture going to try and get past with the Marines. Marines pulling back though. Doesn't want to throw too many units away early on, because even though he does have the Marine count to back it up, he does need to make sure he keeps his units alive to be able to defend. Second factory on the way for 3S. He's also going to be going for an armory behind this. Now the armory will allow him to defend against this Wraith, which is why it's kind of important against a factory expand to go for an armory around 5.5 minutes, just because it does give you that option of the early Goliath. Keeps you a little bit more safe against Vulture plays as well, because Goliaths absolutely shred Vultures like it's nobody's business. We're going to have tanks and siege coming in immediately for 3S, so second gas already on the way for him. Nyoken going to be relying on at least a few Vultures early on, going to be saving up, going to save on siege mode. I don't think he's quite got that yet, but he will be adding his second refinery at the same time. So skipping out on siege mode does allow him to push out a little bit quicker, does allow him to get this Wraith, which is going to be quite an instrumental plan of his here. Now, with the quicker siege tanks, he'll be able to take a forward position on the map if he wants to. You see that 3S is going to be kind of stuck back here behind his bunker and his barracks. Wants to make sure that he doesn't die to any crazy run-bys or anything. He doesn't really know too much. And this is the first thing he's really going to see of any interest. So he did get to see that it was a factory expand. The Wraith going to go in, scout the fact that it's 2 factories, and going to pull back immediately. Now Nyoken playing a little bit cheeky. He's hiding his racks in 3S's base, building a few Marines. And that's just going to be a little... It's not a massive play, but it's a little bit of a power play. You can come in a little bit later with like 4 or 5 Marines, try and take down some SCVs. Obviously this is minerals he can't put into additional factories, so that's going to be a bit of a pain for Nyoken. But he is going to be adding on 2 factories at once now, so that's looking pretty good for him. Although his tanks being a bit annoying. Still 2 factories for our blue Terran player. Now the Marines aren't really going to be able to do too much for now. But it still should be pretty good. Nyoken doing a really good job with his Vulture as well, just scouting around for any dropships or anything like that. Of course, he's still got this Wraith as well, so it's going to come in, see if it can do any damage whatsoever. Not really going to be able to get too many kills, might be able to get 1, but the SCV should be able to be pulled away. It looks like we had a little bit of mismarker there by 3S. So he is going to miss that, but Nyoken will save the Wraith once again. No additional Wraiths have actually been added by Nyoken. He's going to go into a control tower. Now a really nice scan actually by 3S, going to see all the factories, going to see no upgrade going on this machine shop, and going to see the control tower coming up. So he's going to have to know that he's going to need to worry about drops at some point in the future. Could be Cloak as well, so he's going to have to make sure he can get his scans up and save some. And then we actually saw another scan going down on the 3rd. With this kind of 3 factory play, you can actually go for a very, very quick 3rd base. And it looks like Nyoken will eventually go to do that, but he's going to take another main early on. Now, we see 3S moving out, posturing himself on the map to take his own 3rd a little bit earlier. You can see, as I said before, he's put up a really nice siege line here. This is going to cut off this area, which is a really important place to cut off if you want to try and mine this base. You can see him build the command center on the position as well. And Nyoken, I mean, he's playing very, very passive behind this. He's not really looking to gain any ground on the map. He's just trying to power up behind this, going in for dropships as well. Now it looks like there was the Marines. They did come in. Sorry, I did miss that. But it looks like they didn't get too much done. Siege Tank did manage to clear that up. Just a little bit of lost mining time. Maybe a couple of SCVs did go down. Now, Due to the earlier factories, 3S has actually fallen quite far behind in supply. He is going to have to deal with these dropships coming in as well. Looks like Nyoken scanned ahead of his drops, so that's going to be feeling pretty good for him. Now, Nyoken does have scan energy. He's not really using it too much though, saving up, making sure he doesn't get killed by countercloak. But there we go, there is yet another scan coming in by 3S. Just scanning around to see if there's any units coming here, so really good scan by him actually. He will see the tanks moving on up, and you can see he's responding already, moving in with some tanks to the back. Needs to be careful of this turret. I think he was actually shooting it with his tank for a bit. But the tanks of Nyoken going to be forced back without getting too much damage done. Really good defense here by 3S, going to make it very, very difficult to push in. 3 factories for him still. But he does have the benefit of this much quicker third base. Nyoken actually, despite having the early map control, didn't really make use of it, so he's actually going to have to float that over, which is not going to be feeling too good for him. But he does have 5 factories back at home, so he's going to continue to have that supply advantage, at least for the meantime. But the armory only just coming up for Nyoken now, on +1 attack is very nearly done for 3S. Now the one problem 3S has is because he did go for a much later starport, his science facility is going to be a while off, so it's going to be a while before we see that +2 attack coming in, and that's the real break point you need to make in TVT. Now good push in by 3S, going to clear up these first tanks by Nyoken, interestingly sieging up in a vertical position on a horizontal attack path. But that's going to work out not very well for him. 3S going to move forward once again, secure a position further on the map, which is going to allow him to move these 2 tanks if he does so choose. And this is going to be the big problem. Nyoken has lost his position over the middle of the map now, so he is going to have his third under siege. There's going to be double dropship heading in to 3S's main though, so 3S going to have to worry about defense. He's actually still got a couple of tanks back here. But he doesn't really have too much in his main base. Now he is going to siege up, and he's in position of this gas. Now this one tank going to be able to do a pretty good job defending, but that gas is still under fire. The problem is he doesn't have air control, so he's not going to be able to see it. And Nyoken actually coming in with a triple dropship, going to be able to siege 4 tanks in the main. SCVs have been pulled. Can he take out these tanks? He's going to unsiege them. That's going to allow the units of 3S to be able to slowly start to trickle in, get the siege advantage. But we still see the gas being shelled down at the top. In the meantime, Nyoken still doing quite a decent bit of damage, but good hold nonetheless by 3S. He did, of course, have the earlier third base, so the gas still being shot at, not managing to move forward, so he's not going to be able to have vision over that for now. But the dropships do go out, and Nyoken's going to be adding on a 4th base. Now this 4th base is going to be very, very strong. He does need to worry about this gas though. Very, very annoying to have to keep dealing with that, but you can see the triple dropships all loading up, and there's not really that much here to defend. So these units should be taken down with a nice drop there, but nice target firing by the Goliaths. Going to take down one of the dropships. And I would say that's a little victory for 3S. Of course, he's in a bit of trouble. Interestingly, 3S had some units back here, and he's trying to take the middle base, which is a lot closer to Nyoken. And he doesn't actually have anything defending it. He's still sending more units in for an attack, but you can see Nyoken on top of this already. Did see that with a scan in the middle, so he is going to get that first siege. And 3S is going to be forced to retreat. Now 3S with his +1 attack done. 0-0 still for Nyoken, but +1 almost finished. Do we have a science facility yet? Yes we do, but no +1 attack has been started yet, so Nyoken has a chance of coming back closer with those upgrades. Now it looks like 3S is kind of moving a little bit aimlessly in the middle of the map. He is going to see these tanks trying to come in. Nice turret ring outside of his base, but they're going to be a little bit forfeit. Not going to be able to take down one of the dropships either. But these tanks kind of stuck in a little bit of no man's land now, but they are going to secure this base. They're going to help secure this base as well. And it's going to be something that 3S has to move in to try and deal with. Now, do we have +2 attack yet? No, we don't, and this could be a big, big problem. Now, he's actually got 3 gas mining, but he's spending a lot of gas on something. He's queuing up Goliaths. This is a big mistake to be making in TBT, you need as much gas funneling into upgrades as humanly possible. Now Nyoken going to be on 4 gas. 4 gas is going to be so strong. Now 3S is actually going to circumvent this siege line. A little bit of a misstep here by Nyoken. Going to be able to get a few siege shots down on something. But looks like that was actually this tank here. Going to be able to take down all these SCVs. And here is the defensive drop from Nyoken. Nyoken's actually been spending a lot on vultures right now. And that's not going to help him against this tank Goliath army. The upgrades are at parity now, so +1 for both players. Gonna have a Marine come in here for good measure as well, just to help out. But not really too much going on. Looks like we do have the 3rd bit, or 4th base even, pushed back by these tanks. Sorry I did miss that, but we're gonna see the command center go down here. The tanks have been cleaned up as well. And this is the kind of little victory that 3S needs to make. The supplies are now dead even once again. We have 3S with his own dropships. Still no +2 coming in for him though. +2 for Nyoken not started either. They're using a lot of their APM to try and go and deal with the units. Now, Nyoken's going to slowly start... Oh, this was actually a really nice drop. Is going to be able to drop down. Only this is a single tank to take out 3 of those tanks. Going to have to target further mines. So the mines! Oh, that was lucky. That was so close. Oh man, I've been in that situation too many times, so you just lose everything. But he is going to re-secure this 4th base. He does need to repair this tank though. Nyoken, of course, still stuck on 3 bases. Actually going to be adding on a command center up here. Going to be able to ferry units over with a dropship. 5 dropships now, though, in position by Nyoken. Now 3S with a weird tank spot again. But he is going to be flying dropships into Goliath's. Great move, taking out 2 of the dropships that were full of units. And Nyoken's drop forced to go back, and for the first time in this game, 3S has actually taken the supply advantage, but he's still not getting that upgrade advantage. Nyoken is going to pull ahead in the upgrades if he's not careful, but the trouble is 3S has not been mining gas that efficiently. He's only on 3 gas right now. There only seems to be 2 guys on this gas, pulling a little bit of a kicks in this TVT. That's a very deadly maneuver to make. You can actually lose games because of that, so 3S is probably going to be looking at this replay after, thinking, why didn't I have any gas? And that's exactly why. But the Goliaths find that command center in the top left. Tanks are actually sieging down at the command center again. And there's only a single tank in here to defend. This is the problem. He's sieged in a very weird location. And units are just being dragged in by the siege fire. The command center going to be taken down as well if he's not careful. I mean, admittedly, he could probably just move it over here and just mine the gas. He doesn't really need the minerals right now. But 4 tanks still stalwartly defending this position. But this is the move by Nyoken. That's a really strong positional play. He's moving around the top half of the map. Command center going up at that mineral only. And he's going to come in from here. Going to take down this command center from 2 angles. We have the counter drop on top of the 4 tanks back here. But can he clean it up? Can he clean the units coming in? The SCVs have been pulled. The supply is still dead even. And I mean, some of the tanks have been cleaned up, but there's more and more units. A counter drop on top of the drop by Nyoken and 3S, both losing a lot of units in this. The mine gonna clean up everything if the vultures don't already. And Nyoken is slowly starting to pull ahead. He's actually gonna be ahead in upgrades. We see 3S with units kind of all over the place again, not really building up his forces to defend anywhere. And he does have 6 dropships now against the 4 of Nyoken. Getting those 2 dropships earlier was a very strong positional, or very strong strategic play. Going to be able to clean up these tanks once again. They're going to have to trade a little bit inefficiently to do so. We'll lose a couple of those tanks and we'll siege immediately. Now 1 tank does try and move in by Nyoken to try and clean up this position. But unfortunately it feels like 3S isn't making enough use of the area he's covering with his siege lines. We don't see a 4th, we don't see a 5th base. It's so weird, I keep hearing siege shots and I can't tell what's shooting what. It looks like these siege tanks still attacking this command center. It does need to lift that before it dies. But another 3 dropships are going to come in. Going to be able to drop on top of these tanks. Gonna siege next to siege tanks. Okay, that's something you can do. And wow, this is actually a weird thing to see, like 2 siege tanks in each other's dead zone. But the trouble is 3S is not trading efficiently right now. He's actually losing a lot of units. He's not really securing any ground. We see Nyoken trying to take a 4th base again. That's going to allow him to sort of start mining up there. Nyoken spending his money a little bit better than 3S's. 3S is spending a lot on gas units. Obviously the vultures have finally stopped coming in for Nyoken, but +2 attack has finished. And this is the breakpoint that Nyoken was waiting for. Do we even have +2 on the way? Yes, we do, but it's only just started. And +2 attack is going to do so much damage. You can see one mine takes out that entire drop by 3S, and 3S is not going to be feeling good about that. He has tanks. They're only +1 though. He cannot realistically push in anymore. And we're going to see Nyoken try and move down a little bit of an odd siege line again though by 3S. Going to be able to at least take a couple of those units down. We of course do have this tank on the high ground as well with 8 kills, that guy. He's a hero. 4th gas is going to be start mining again. Or is going to start mining again, excuse my poor English. We're going to see 3 tanks, 2 Goliaths coming out at the same time for 3S. The reason why Nyoken is allowed to spend his money a little bit better is he does have a lot more factories, but the units being cleared on top of here. Now imagine if he'd had this command center a lot earlier, that would have been another gas he could have nearly mined out by this point, actually, the amount of time he's been sat there. But Nyoken having a little trouble loading up his dropships. That's actually quite hard to do in TVT. You've got a lot of units to put in there. We're going to see the drop into the main. He is going to be able to shell down on this 3rd base, going to be able to shell down the armory as well if he chooses to. But realistically, this isn't that many units. Vultures, tanks, Goliaths, all heading back to defend. And these SCVs should actually be able to help clean this up very, very strongly. +2 attack still not done. Does need to focus fire this tank down. Does get the first shot, but you can see takes 3 shots from a tank to kill another tank at the moment. For 3S, Nyoken still with a very, very strong position. He's actually locked 3S away from this position now. And that's going to be 1 less base, but 3S is trading so efficiently. Look at the kills on these tanks. +2 is not doing too much for Nyoken. He can't get the moves on it, but triple dropship going to be coming in to help clean this up. And this should be what Nyoken needs to clean him. He didn't manage to take down the armory though, but he did take out a lot of tanks, and Nyoken is actually really far behind in supply right now. We see a lot more dropships coming in. Not full though. The gas is starting to mine out for all the players. You can see that 2 gas though. 2 guys in gas means he's got so much gas left it is natural. Meanwhile Nyoken has spent most of his, so in a weird situation, we're actually going to see Nyoken with a little bit of an advantage there. Now it looks like we are going to see 3S try to take down these tanks, but he is going to be dropping on +2 tanks. Does need to be careful, but +2's now done for both players. Going to be able to take position on this high ground, but great positioning by Nyoken is going to allow him to kill a lot of these tanks as they try and move into a good spot. And this is going to be annoying, but 3S going to be moving up to take down this expansion. We do have siege tanks up here for whatever reason. They're going to be able to move down to defend this. 3S does finally have his 4th base mining. Finally looks like he is going to be going for a 5th base, but we see this drop coming in by Nyoken at the same time. Going to force yet another cancel on the command center. But we see 3S in a good position over the command center now. Not able to hit it without a scan, so that's kind of annoying. Does need to scoot his tanks a little bit further forward. Kind of like that's one of the most annoying things with TVT. You're like, oh, I'm in range, and then you're not. So once again, we've got siege tanks sieging down on this. Not that command center. Where are they sieging? I guess it's still these ones. They are going to stop most of the mining at this base, so that's something. We see the counter drop coming in from VT. Now he is going to be dropping on top of mines. That's going to be a big mistake, but going to work out in his favor this time. Great trade there, and he's going to be able to secure this main. And that's a move he needs to make if he wants to go later in this game. Now back at home, just while we have a look, we see no physics lab from him. No physics lab from Nyoken as well. He is sat on a lot of gas. But really doesn't have the kind of supply, doesn't have the map control that he really wants to be able to go into BCs. So we're going to be stuck on tank Goliath dropship for quite a while. We've got a good siege position here by 3S with good target firing, he should be able to take down these tanks, but not able to do it. But here is the counter drop once again. And 3S is going to be able to take down all of these units. He's going to build a command center over here, but he needs to scan. And he is going to start... Oh, wow, a lot of the dropships actually going down by Nyoken is a huge mistake. But very, very clever play by 3S as he pushes forward into this mineral-only base. Obviously, the mineral-only usually wouldn't be too important, but we can see the mains, the naturals, mined out of minerals. And Nyoken's bank is very, very small right now. A nice push forward with the Goliaths are going to take out a lot of the mines. But SCV's being pulled once again. Nyoken knows he has to clear this position. He's going to be pushing in with tanks, but look how quickly they died. 2 shots to kill those, but Hero SCV goes down. But oh man, this SCV is a very strong guy. How many kills is this guy going to get? Is he going to kill all the tanks? He could kill both of these tanks right now. You can hear so many scans going down from both of our players right now. The minerals on the third base of 3S nearly dried out. Same does go for Nyoken. You can see how many SCVs Nyoken has in comparison. But it looks like 3S may have got the advantage just by outlasting Nyoken even. He's going to drop into the main, and Nyoken doesn't really have enough money. He needs to siege your tanks immediately, but he's going to be sieging in tank fire. Oh, this is so unfortunate for Nyoken. These are all the units he has right now. Nyoken without I mean, he's got this base, it's barely mining. That SCV did get cleaned up by this tank, but this is such a strong drop by 3S. He's trading so efficiently. Nyoken has had to send most of his SCVs to their death. And I mean, realistically, what is Nyoken going to be able to do to hold on? He's down 90 supply, not 90 supply, he's down 70 supply, and he does clean up the drop in his main, but we're going to see this 5th base coming up for 3S. It's fully mining. 4th base not yet really mining for Nyoken. He lost his mineral only in the center. Going to be distance mining for a little bit as well. And I mean, he does have a decent number of SCVs at this base, but he's got nowhere to mine with them. He does finally clear up this base here, but look, there's 5 dropships still alive by 3S, pushing through. Pushing back into the main even, still no physics lab, but that's probably not going to come up this game now. I'm a little bit disappointed, but it's been a long and fun TVT. Lots of dropship action all over the map and really showing how positional TVT is. I mean, look at these 3 tanks. They've been here almost like 15, no, maybe 10 minutes, and they're not really doing anything, but they're actually blocking off 3S from being able to move up there. Now here is the big drop to come in to try and take down this base. We see the dropship coming in from Nyoken first, but the counter drop by 3S going to be doing a lot of damage. No siege by Nyoken, gonna lose all of his units up here, and this is going to be the 4th base even going down for Nyoken. He really did need to siege those tanks. Vultures coming up as well. Maybe he can clear this with mines, but the Goliath's going to be doing a lot of work. There we go, a nice mine. Not actually going off for some reason, but it looks like this base has been cleaned up. We see the mineral only once again taken by Nyoken. He's got so much gas, but no minerals to spend them. And we actually see 3S, oh, we see Nyoken even with some scans. 3S trying to work out exactly where Nyoken's mining right now. He knows this base is dry, a little bit of gas left there. Still gas in the third of... Wow, there's even gas still in the natural expansion, so that's kind of annoying. But the command center does go down. Nyoken in a terrible spot right now. He's nearly down 100 supply. He's been forced into making vultures, and he doesn't... Like, how many tanks does Nyoken have right now? He has the 3 here. He has 2 here, so that's 5 tanks. But here's another big drop coming in from 3S. That could be it. GG! And after a 27-minute TBT, 3S takes down Nyoken with very strong strategic play. Now that was a fairly cool TBT there. I do love TBT, so any TBTs for me is pretty cool. But it was really nice, very positional game, very heavy drops. Now just to show respect to Nyoken, I'm gonna cast like Nyoken until the beginning of the next game. This is his Have at you style. How about Nyoken style of standing up in his camera? So that was a good game by 3S, good game by Nyoken as well. That's going to put VT up 1-0. And we're going to head into the second game just after this.